what is worship? Worship is nothing but it's in nature, right? So you always don't need a huge temple or something which is very glossy to your eyes to go and pray. Sometimes it could be as simple as a sand, a moon, stars, and sitting is something that is completely unknown. See, we talk about AI and all these fancy things, but these temples are running for centuries, and every day, trust me, every day they have lakhs of people who come and visit the temple, and when we have functions, the crowd is just 5x, and no one talks about this. This itself is like a Harvard research paper.
Namaste, Namratha ji. It's truly a privilege to have you here with us today. And so we'll start directly we'll dive in. So you left behind the dream job of a lot of people, Disney, Amazon. So you believe that you were living somebody else's idea of success before temples actually found you.
Sure, I was just saying, Pranav, Datta sir gave such a powerful speech, and I should have actually spoken before him. But let's do a small icebreaker. So how many of you here are on Instagram? I'm sure. Wow, that's a handful of followers. So quickly open and follow Temple Girl. Okay. So jokes apart, life is very funny to us sometimes. So during the pandemic back in 2020, that is when everything came to a standstill, right? And we wanted to bring positivity in people's lives. So now when I say we, it is me and my husband in this journey. So I'm the front face and he is a person, behind the camera. So we both are doing this journey together. And he's not here today. He had some other commitments. So in pandemic, we wanted to, do something different. We wanted to bring positivity in people's lives. So we decided to head back to Mangalore. That is where I belong from, Dakshina Kannada. So we came to Mangalore and we thought that during that time, people can't go to temples, right? During pandemic,
Right.
Everyone were locked at homes. So we thought, why not bring temples to people's houses? So that's when the idea of, documenting temples came to us. We went to all the temples in Mangalore and Dakshina Kannada. We spoke to the priests, we spoke to the local people. We started documenting these temples and then posted them on YouTube. Slowly and steadily, those videos became a hit. Everyone started loving it because they could not go to temples, and that was an appropriate time, to post these videos on YouTube. After that, pandemic got over, and we came back to Mumbai. And like most of you seated here, I got that one perfect role in Amazon. So it was an Amazon Prime Video as a finance manager, literally a dream role for many of us, attending, all these celebrity events, the premiere shows, and whatnot. But no matter how many awards, recognitions, or anything that I got, something kept pulling me back every day. It took me back to those wonderful memories, where I had shot in temples, and I myself, learned these stories for the first time. I had no idea, okay, I used to go to that temple for so many years, but I didn't know, okay, there was so much history, so much story attached to it. And that's when I realized that this isn't my idea of success. I was living, someone else's idea of success.
Okay. So, Namratha ji, as you have mentioned temples, so which is the one temple that actually spoke to you, not just visually, but also spiritually? And any one mystical or surreal experience that you would want to share with us?
Okay, so let me talk about, the first part, the temple. It's not a temple actually. So just imagine, just picture this, okay? It is pitch dark. You are sitting somewhere in the sand. So it is a very sacred snake ritual that happens in Padubidri, near, again, on the coastal town between Mangalore and Udupi. And this happens between February and March. And if any one of you gets a chance to attend or to be a part of this, it is once in a lifetime that you must attend this. So no matter which part of the world I am, I always make sure that, I'm there in February and March to attend it. So it's a very sacred snake ritual that happens midnight between 11:30 p.m. and before sunrise, between 2:30 or 3 a.m. So it's just you, the sand, the ritual, and absolutely nothing artificial is allowed over there. No mobile phones, no lights, no music. So that actually reminded me of what is worship. worship is nothing but it's in nature, right? So you always don't need a huge temple or something which is very glossy to your eyes to go and pray. Sometimes it could be as simple as a sand, a moon, stars, and sitting with something that is completely unknown. So that is something which is very close to my heart. And talking about surreal experience, the most recent one, let me tell about that. So I went to Tirumala. So everyone knows about Tirumala, right? You go there and it's just 2 seconds and you come out, you even forget how, how is God Balaji, how does his hand, how does his leg, or, how is this entire thing. And I'm sure any one of you who has gone to Tirumala will have the same experience. So I was waiting in the queue for my turn, and I'm constantly thinking, every time since my childhood I've come to Tirumala, but I don't remember how Lord Balaji looks like from a temple perspective. And I was constantly thinking that this time, no matter what, I'm going to see God Balaji, even if it is 2 seconds, even if it is 1 second, I'm going to see and I'm going to remember properly how God Balaji looks like. So I went in the queue, I went inside. You won't believe it. The Panditji pulls me in the side and tells me, stand here and see the God. So I'm standing there. Even now, I get very emotional when I talk about it. I'm just crying because the energy there is so powerful that one cannot control. So I'm just standing there. I'm seeing. I don't know what to pray. I don't know what to even think. I'm just lost. And I finished. It was more than a minute or two, and I'm walking. He pulls me back. He tells, no, stand and see. Again, I'm seeing. Again, I'm crying. And then the energy is so much that, trust me, even if someone tells you, stand here for 10 minutes, you cannot stand there. That is one such place. So I looked at the Panditji and I said, I'm done. I've seen, I'll go. And that's when he says, oh, you have seen, you can go now. I came out, my husband is searching, like, no one stands there for 5 minutes, right? Where are you? What happened? And I'm still crying. I'm not able to tell him, what just happened inside. So it was a very surreal experience. I don't think any logic or any science can explain what happened. Maybe it's the power of manifestation, what they say in modern terms. Yeah.
Okay, so Namrata ji, this question I think a lot of MBA students would be really interested in. So temples are amongst the most complex organizations and managing thousands daily. So what business lesson do you think like businesses can learn from temples?
Yeah, I think it's a brilliant question. Even me coming from a corporate background, when I go to a temple, it amazes me to see how do they even manage such a large gathering. Let us think that we have to do a wedding, a function, or something like this. So many months of planning, and all these things go into it. Let's take example of Tirumala itself. Every day, 1 lakh devotees or more than 1 lakh devotees, go to visit Balaji. The system over there is just flawless. The way they organize, the way they plan different darshans, different queues, that is at one side, and other side is the food system. 365 days a year, the food is running, it's running constantly. So I think three core things that come to my mind. One, of course, is the production efficiency, applying the Six Sigma things, and absolutely zero technology. We talk about AI and, all these fancy things, but these temples are running for centuries, and every day, trust me, every day they have lakhs of people who come and visit the temple, and when we have functions, the crowd is just 5x. And no one talks about this. This itself is like a Harvard, research paper. So one is production efficiency. Second thing is crisis management. When there is such huge gathering and crowd, there could be 100 things that could go wrong. How do they even manage these things, right? So it's absolutely beautiful to see, how quick they are to take care of things, when something goes wrong. And I think the most important thing over here is a core belief system, which, even as new entrepreneurs, I always tell them, when you start a business, always have a core belief system that everyone wants to work for, which is much above than money. That's why you see certain companies where, profits, is never a core. It will follow you because people are working there out of love and not because you get salary. The minute you start working to in a place out of love, salary, money, all these things will just follow you.
Right. So very well said, Namrata ji. I think we can learn a lot from this. So here at IIM Sambalpur, we proudly carry the identity of the handcrafted IIM, if you must have heard. So with that in mind, what roles do you see temple towns playing in reviving local economies, crafts, and jobs?
Again, wonderful question. I think Datta sir just emphasized on you should walk and talk. He is wearing something which is local. I'm wearing a Kajivaram sari, which is absolutely local from the weavers. Temple towns have so much of business which is still untouched. Trust me. I went to Kalahasti recently, and there is this famous pen kalankari work over there. And I met the ladies over there who are beautifully sitting and painting these saris. So I was talking to them, I was understanding their pain areas, what is your pain area? Are you earning enough money? Because these saris, trust me, sell in the market for 10x prices. So she said, ma'am, these saris are sold for 10x prices, but we hardly get, any money in the form of salaries. So you all budding entrepreneurs sitting over here, my only request to you is, there is so much of untapped potential around Temple and the entire ecosystem. There is so much of business models that we can build. But when you build these business models, like, the director said, think little more than profits. When you are making a profit, ensure that it is also reaching the end weaver, so that there is a continuation in all these legacies that we have. It's amazingly beautiful. Pen kalankari is a very small example. Trust me, when you travel across India, it will truly amaze you how beautiful and how rich our country is. But if we don't support these small weavers or these small craftsmen, it is slowly going to die, because they don't want their children to continue this, because there is no money in this. And it's our responsibility as entrepreneurs, when we are setting up businesses, let's avoid all these middlemen. Let's build an ecosystem where you are literally the brainchilds, right, of setting up businesses and having those streamlined processes where you are just a middleman between the weavers and the end consumers. So in this way, the profit is shared between you and the craftsmen or the weavers, let's say. So build such an ecosystem, and trust me, there's so much potential in India for all these small untapped businesses around temples itself.
Very well said, Namrata ji. So now this question actually I'm very curious to know about. So what is the one lesson that temples taught you that corporate world could never?
Well, there are many lessons that temples have taught me. First of all, it teaches you patience, because you have to stand in hours and hours in a line to just get a glimpse of God for a few seconds. And I think, most important about than that is, once my mother told me, when I was really small, she told me, always remember one thing: there's only death that you need to worry about in your life. Okay, and when you stand in front of God, you are divided maybe by financial or economic standards, but everyone is the same. So it doesn't matter it is a president standing there or a common man, everyone's prayer is equally answered. So since my childhood, I've always been applying the same logic even in my corporate life. So it doesn't matter whether there's a VP, a CFO, a director, or there's somebody else, standing in front of you. The minute you have your core values, your integrity, right? The minute you have these two things in you, you absolutely don't have to worry whom you're talking to or in front of whom you're laying your points. So I think that is something which is what I follow even to this day.
Okay. Yeah. So that was really inspiring, Namrata ji. And with that, we will actually end the conversation here. And we have also learned with this that heritage and modern leadership do not only coexist, but they also open the doors to certain new possibilities. And it was really nice having you here.
Yeah.
And make sure to follow the Temple Girl.
Thank you so much.